data from 2010, Accountability Workbook, no longer apply to the 66 schools that BID manage and that are proposed to be transferred to DODE. So again, like I said, the data is no longer, it's outdated. We need to develop new standards of instruction within Common Core and teacher education. Inclusion of the NEM content standards require their own data sets. Because the ODLA, as they call it, Oral Language Assessment, they determine the capabilities and the strengths of how our students are able to speak Navajo. So they require a whole different structure of looking at data. We have to design that. Integration of tribal data collection with that of the state and BIE needs to develop as per the Accountability Workbook. Okay? Some state schools, the public schools collect data for their Native American students. How can we use that to our advantage from what the public schools collect? And what the BIE collects. Look at both types of data. The need to determine the use of safe harbor category of data for BIE's Navajo schools. Now, if you look at this, what's in parentheses here, it says, fiscal year 2014 data from BIE shows that 41% of reporting schools met AYP. And this was up from 2010. Now, if it's only 41 schools reporting, saying that they met AYP, if they're using the safe harbor, then that says something about our schools. Okay? Recommendations for the Sovereignty and Indian Education Act. Conduct outreach activities with all BIE buildings. When they say buildings, they mean schools. Both the grant schools and the BIE schools. In the coming years, to gathering information about strengths and weaknesses of students and faculty performance. The best performing buildings could be recognized as a special advisory group to this initiative. What that means is that the example that I used with Tuba City Boarding School, because they're making AYP, what are they doing that they can share for all the Navajo Nation schools? What is Shanto doing that we're seeing vast amount of student improvement? What is Dilcon doing here at this school? So we're going to look at all this information. Conduct public meetings in chapter house and border towns of the Navajo Nation to gain similar information from parents, students, public officials, and other stakeholders within Navajo education on Navajo education. So this is where everybody comes in, all the stakeholders. We will conduct these meetings. Again, develop partnerships with 3 states that serve Navajo Nation students, so that we build the trust with schools and education professionals about the capacity of a new school system to serve students between school transfers. I've already talked about that. Okay, now we move over to phase 2. This right here, SIEG, stands for Sovereignty and Indian Education Grant. The Navajo Nation was one of 5 tribes that was able to receive this grant to conduct the research. Okay? And the main purpose is to support the Navajo Nation's capacity to manage and operate tribally controlled schools as it's defined within the laws of Public Law 297 and Public Law 93-638, and Title 10. Okay? To develop a Navajo school system, to improve educational outcomes. That's our goal. We want to improve. We all know where our students are at. We need to grow. We need to go from there. Okay? Revitalize Navajo language and culture within our instruction. Improve efficiency and effectiveness in the operation of BIE schools. To build capacity of DODE to effectively serve our schools. Okay? I'm almost done. I will entertain questions. Desired outcomes. Develop strategies that steadily increase yearly achievement scores for all our schools. The goal is to go up in our student achievement scores. We want to improve graduation rates. When I was a counselor working on an application, there was a lot of students that didn't meet the graduation requirements. We need to improve that. Some students fell short just barely, and then they had to wait until the next year for them to graduate. We need to figure out ways to avoid that. Reduce the unacceptable high dropout rate. Again, as a counselor, there's a lot of reasons. There's various reasons that are out there why our students drop out. How can we fix that? Do we need more support services like counselors and so forth within our residential halls in our schools? We have to look at that. Prepare graduating classes with the skills and knowledge to improve on the ACT, SAT scores. Because this test is needed to get into a university. It's not required for a community college. It's only required for universities. But we want to gear all our students to be ready for a 4-year school. When I worked as a counselor in the state of California, I was there for a long time. The goal for the district that I was working in was that every student within the high school will start in classes that will get them ready for college entrance. There was no exceptions. We had to put these students in the necessary classes in order to get into a 4-year school. When they graduated, they made that choice if they want to start with a community college or go right into a university. But the goal was that they had to take all the required classes. That's what we need to do for our Navajo people. Then the students can choose on their own. Year 2 of the project. Conduct research to develop Navajo Nation's school system to strengthen all Navajo and federally funded schools in the areas of human resources, finance, governments, and academics. These 4 areas basically run a school. Strong emphasis will be on Public Law 100-297 and Public Law 93-638 and Navajo Nation Title 10. We're not going to go beyond what the law states. We're going to stick to what the law states. School reform, improve student achievement, promote college and career readiness, revitalize the Navajo Nation, Navajo language and culture, because it states that Navajo Nation Title 10, that it's in our inherent right to practice this, to enforce it. What is the SEEDS work plan? This is what we're going to be working on for this first year. The technical design, the research, in the areas of human resources, finance, school governments. We need to develop the MOUs with the state departments and do facility inventories. Facility inventories meaning how many buses does each school have? How many computers does each school have? How many classrooms do they have? What's all in the classrooms? Everything has to be inventoried. Year 2 will consist of technical design and research in the area of academics. Because academics require so much, we have to look at to make sure that we meet the requirements for special education. So we're going to need people who are expert in special education. We're going to need experts that can write curriculum. We're going to need experts that have their expertise in assessments, how we're going to design our tests, and so forth. We're going to need experts in the net curriculum design, Navajo curriculum. We want to make sure that it's all aligned with STEM and reading, language arts, special ed, social studies, and visual arts. Again, the integration to integrate Navajo Internet content standards. Continuous assessment of students and teacher performance. There are some schools right now that really do their teacher performances really well. We're going to need their expertise in that area. How are we going to all evaluate our teachers? So if the teacher, for some reason, if they go from one school to the next school, the evaluation is the same. Same thing with principals. Okay? The Sovereignty and Indian Education Grant and an Navajo Nation Teacher Education Consortium, there's a partnership that has been developed. Okay? We want to continuously work with the INTEC. INTEC, again, is the Navajo Nation Teacher Education Consortium. The reason why we want to continue this partnership is because they're the experts in teaching our teachers. We want to make sure that our teachers are knowledgeable with the net content standards, because if they're going to work with the Navajo Nation, they're going to need to know that. They're going to need to know the requirements under the Navajo Nation Accountability Workbook, what's required, and so forth. Because they are the ones that teach our teachers. Okay? To conduct research and data and policy studies, to provide input on pathways to prepare students to be college and career ready. Pre-service teacher education, in-service teacher professional development, graduate education, principal training. Okay? For the very reasons that are listed here is the reason why we need to keep that partnership and include it in this study. Now, there was a lot of anxiety in terms of if the Navajo Nation, if the monies for our schools, if they go to Window Rock, we're only going to get a little bit. That's not the case. What we're proposing is that if this money goes into a Public Law 10297 grant, our council members, our tribal government cannot put their hands in it because, number one, it's protected by law. It's just like saying if one of the tribal officials says, I want some of Dilcon's money, they can't take it because it's operating as a 10297 grant. The Navajo Nation doesn't get any money from Dilcon Community School. So if it operates as a 10297, we can't